This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome. I hope everybody can hear me. This is Chris, and this is the first wager conference, which is half for people following me for the season and half for people that are just curious to what I have to say. Because I already had a long winded hour and 45-minute video that many sat through, but was very long and disorganized the first time. So, what I want to do here is basically go through a trial run. I want to address some of the major issues. Uh, the questions are available to be sent. You can send those on chat as time goes on. Feel free to send them in. Um, what I wanted to do was basically uh, skip any sort of the sales thing or the philosophy things and try to just touch base with the people that are already following me in the VIP Discord and for these wager conferences. Many have joined for several years and know what to expect, but even some of the stuff we're doing is new. So nothing's written in stone, but what I talk about today is primarily going to be my goal. My goal is I had this idea more than a year ago uh, because I think it's important that if you're following somebody, that you learn from whoever you're following from. I don't think if somebody learned in the Discord and asked me a contest question, I don't just answer the question. I want to pose something back to them and let them come to their own conclusion, so that in their hemisphere of thought, they've actually thought it out entirely rather than just accepting an answer. And so that's what my goal is all year long, is to be proactive and reactive to what is going to be best to have winning NFL this season. We've had a great run, and as everybody knows me, it can turn around on a dime. So let me be 100% perfectly clear. I can promise nothing. I can only promise to follow the model and do the best I can and to make the most amount of effort possible to be accountable, available, and that's all I can offer. I can offer my insight. I can offer to answer questions and to educate. And we have a great reference point of 8 years of history and almost 1,000 games to go by as a history. Uh, and some in the space feel 100 games is enough to warrant trusting them. Uh, as 10 times that amount, I feel extremely secure in what we're going to be doing. Um, if you're new, most people already know that I bet a significantly more amount of money on my NFL than I do on anything else. Several years ago, when I first started paying attention to my finances with my financial planner and such, and I was doing a lot of buying and selling and this and that and realizing what that was about, it just kind of dawned on me, all these different investments. I don't have any control over it. The best investment that I know is my NFL model. And I go, why am I not using money meant for life investments and apply it and take a portion of that and really kind of bet more on the NFL and treat it as a real investment. So I do bet significantly more on my NFL, and I feel confident. I treat it as real life investing. Uh, for me, it's about the winning. It's about the work. It's about adapting. People that were with me last year know we started off poorly, and uh, I had to pivot. And that's another thing that we're going to learn throughout the course of the year, is you have to be open-minded to be able to pivot. You can't be stubborn. What I do with the NFL, it's not going to work forever. Nothing works forever. I've had to tweak it before. I've had to tweak my college football before, and everybody has to do it because at some point the market catches up with you. And so far, it hasn't caught up with us, and as people know, uh, our record is actually better when we don't get positive CLV. For whatever reason that is. Granted, that's only 124 games, but it trending in a very positive light that we don't panic if we don't get the best of the number. And we don't get the best of the number only 15, 14% of the time. Um, so this is the way I envision a week with me. Now, I don't know when, what day, or days we're going to have these wager conferences. It's not my job to entertain you. I'm not going to be able to entertain people. It's not my job. But what I do envision is plausible situations where I can alert people that are following, hey, I'm going to be working for a while. Let's have an informal wager conference. Uh, and I got some stuff I can do. We can have some two-way. Uh, People can bring up some things that are on their mind. I can watch the board. I can do some stuff at the same time. It can be sort of a working wager conference. I envision that that's a possibility. I also imagine wager conferences that are directly agenda based and go bing, bang, boom, topic, topic, topic. Um, I could envision, a combination of both. I can envision one a week. I can envision three a week. I don't know. We're going to just have to see. It's going to be based on the popularity and the interest, and whether it's how much of an inconvenience it is to people. So, uh, what I'm trying to say is, I'm available. I want to be available, and I think that that's really important. If people are going to invest money, I think that they should feel confident that they're getting every last ounce of value that they can out of who they're working with. And I think anybody that has made personal contact with me knows that I don't care if you're a $10 better, although you shouldn't be buying the service at $10, or a $5,000 or $10,000 better. I treat everybody with the same respect because I think everybody deserves the same respect and care. uh, we're all trying to learn. We're all trying to better ourselves. I actually learn from these exchanges with people. I get value out of most of the relationships from the people that have reached out to me, and there's value to me also. I want, win or lose at the end of the year, people to say, whew, that was awesome. I mean, every single week I had somebody that I could ask this or inquire about this. I got this contest issue. I've got this payment issue with uh, uh, a bookie or a friend. I have this situation with, what should I do here? I want to be able to try to help. Uh, Let me preface it also by saying I don't know it all. Okay, a lot of people like to say they know it all. I don't know it all. I'm constantly learning. I'm a complete imbecile about lots of things, uh, but I'm pretty smart about other things. So I'm not the type of person that's going to give you an answer so I can try to sound smart. If I don't know the answer, I know people I can ask. Uh, you know, uh, there's other ways to do it. My job here is not to impress you. I want everybody's respect, but that's not my goal here. My goal is to win NFL games, to share my process, and to help people as best as I can. And as far as that goes, it's basically an open door policy. People have asked, well, if I reach out, how often is too often, etc. Hey, if I don't have time, I'm just not going to be able to answer you, or it's going to take some time to get back to you. Uh, as somebody just put in, I don't think the chat is visible, but Cris is excellent at helping and answering questions. I think I am. I really try to. But getting back to what I see these wager conferences being is, I get asked, well, when are we going to bet? Because that's potentially the first thing that's going to happen. And a lot of people build up records on small market teams or small market sports. Um, and people that have been following know that I have traditionally not been one of those guys that's pumping out games on Sunday nights or Monday mornings. Uh, the problem is that with the legalization of books and the available lines, We can bet every line for the entire season already. So the problem is that these lines are coming out earlier and earlier and earlier. And let me tell you something. The last thing I want to do is have to do something Sunday night. I really, really appreciate my time to just chill out, and I would really love to put things off till Monday and be able to come to decisions Monday afternoon or Tuesday. And I can't promise that. I really can't. There's other groups that release their plays. It's earlier and earlier. There's groups that move earlier and earlier. Uh, I can't predict. I can't answer the question. If it were up to me, I would love to just release plays on Tuesdays. That would be optimal for me. Are we going to have Sunday and Monday releases? Yeah, probably. And that addresses one of the questions that we went over in the Discord last year. Because I want to be 100% clear, because I have expectations. If you are going to be following me, I have expectations of what you're going to be able to do as far as books. If you don't have the right books, well, then that's going to be a problem. I think I mentioned it before. I didn't make the list, but you really need a bet online. You really need a bookmaker. Both of those shops have PPHs that match their lines, but those lines are going to be in use. And obviously, the main ones on the shore. Heritage is another good one to have. Um, Trade Winds, Bet US. Just to name a handful, but it's important to have a mixture of sharp books and square books. MGM, Caesars, William Hill, DraftKings, FanDuel. Um, you know, you have to have, in my opinion, you have to have, four of those books. And if you don't, those are basically what I'm going to be releasing my plays on. It doesn't do me any good to release games where you can't get the number. Okay. So that's not my goal. My goal has never been to, chintz out on lines. And I absolutely do everything to. I'm the only one that I know that does this. I bet my stuff before I send it out. Whereas other services, they send it out, and then all their buddies and their bots and their whole network are betting with you just as you're getting the play. And that line just goes, whoo, and they're contributing to their own closing line value. I don't care what my closing line value is. I care if people following me can get the best of the number. So it's a real pain in the neck, but I do my best. Out of 250 plays last year, I think I bet about 4 or 5 because I had no choice but to bet with the clients. And it wasn't like I was going to move the whole board by doing it, but uh, it just goes to show that I'm trying to go that extra length to make it as possible, as much as possible, that you guys can get the same lines. And I'm not trying to, I've never had anybody complaining about my release lines. They may not be able to get them, but they can't complain that they weren't there. And I do my damnedest to make sure that they are there. Uh, Getting back to the Sunday, Monday games, we talked about this, and you have to look at it from this perspective. If you, as somebody that's following me, are unprepared and do not have books that have that are open on Sunday and have openers or Mondays. Uh, and there's other circumstances. If you don't have the right teaser lines available, uh, teaser prices or teaser policies, um, there's going to be other things I'm not thinking about the top of my head. Uh, as a group, we discussed it, and there was no dissension. Everybody agreed. I can't penalize half the people following me by not releasing something and waiting for it to be available to everybody. Uh, that's unfair. Now, none of us are going to get every play for the entire season. It's just something's going to happen. There's going to be a play when people are in the car. There's a technology issue on your end. uh, something goes awry. Okay. And when those misses happen, I can do the best I can to advise on what can be done. Uh, but my goal is to not slide Sunday night plays in where half the people can't get them. Okay, I don't like that. It's much harder for me to get down. It's just bad news. So, but in the rare occurrences that has to happen, it's on you guys to have the right books and the right options available, to the point where I can sit there and with a straight face, and where I can name the places that they're available, that it's widely available amongst the group of shops that I just mentioned. It won't just be one outlier book, that type of situation. So that's a little perspective on that if you're wondering how that's going to go. Uh, the betting strategy is going to be the betting strategy. We know that it changed significantly last year. We'll go over how it changed once we get into the follower only wager conferences, but I added a lot of new betting styles into the arsenal, and I'm always going to be looking at doing that. We saw how successful they were. Uh, the beautiful thing about the NFL is you get to sit there and stare at the board, stare at the board, stare at the board, monitor lines, and you have so much extra time to look at all these different ways that you can attack games. And it's just great. And I consult with other people. I spend a lot of time communicating with other people, with the same thought in mind. I work with other people, and the power of networking, I cannot recommend enough to each and every one of you guys that are watching. Uh, Always network and preserve those relationships. Try to build those relationships, because they're invaluable, and information is so critically important. Uh, so that's a little bit about what I'm thinking there. Um, I did that. Did that. What is the betting style exactly? Well, this year I think I'm going to actually be adding more totals. I've been doing some work on that front. I've been working on connections for information on that and how to process that. Uh, I have a pretty decent lifetime record, but I lost last year on those, and I don't want to bleed again this coming year. So I'm going to have relatively short leash. Um, and as we know, um, I'm very extremely pro the use of any wagers uh, where I feel that there's value in what my end goal is. If I use parlays or teasers, I use them in entirely different ways. And I don't know why more people don't understand it. Since I did the video, I've had so many very sharp people reach out and say, I don't know why people don't understand this either. I mean, they get what I'm talking about, but uh, we're never going to run out of these parlay and teaser naysayers. To their defense, hey, 99.9% of them are bad, and unless you know what you're doing. So, but we're doing something different. We're not marrying them. We're using them as independent wagers. We're tying them in. We're interlacing them in with different goals and different bets, and they all have a single purpose, and they are not going off at the same time. They are treated as their own bets, and when one bet is complete, it allows us more often than not to either have a much better line or to be able to risk less. We're not trying to make more, we're trying to risk less. So maybe that's where the people kind of get caught in not understanding the purpose and value of parlays and teasers, and not to mention account preservation. If you can't grasp uh, the simple concept of how important account preservation is. You've never had an account taken away from you. And the very moment you do, you will just be miserable. It sucks to lose an account that you need. And parlays and teasers give you cover. That's the first thing that they look at when they're evaluating your account. And when they see parlays and teasers, they put you right in that sucker category, and that's beautiful. And they're going to give you 5 to 20 times your comp value in return. So there's lots of reasons why parlays are very, very good. And if they didn't give you any cover and they didn't preserve accounts and you didn't get any bonuses, I'd still be using them. So that's all just bonus. Um, we're going to be talking about market awareness. If I get the chance to have multiple wager conferences in a given week, and some of them become working type situations like this, uh, you know, we may discuss what games we're keeping an eye on. We may be discussing, you guys may have some questions on where I think the lines are going to move. I mean, I don't really suggest you guys doing stuff on your own because I believe that that's what gets people in trouble. But, it's your money. You do what you want. Um, I just find more times than not, if you end up doing stuff on your own, that kind of mucks up the whole process. Uh, but market awareness is a talent that I was fortunate enough to learn in a time period when things were much different. And it's not as easy to do it anymore. And it changes all the time. And there's just a lot of things that go into it. And it's not something anybody can teach you in 5 minutes. It's something you can learn over the course of weeks or months or years. I want people to be comfortable with betting options and confidence. Learn, don't be overwhelmed by what the betting options are. Learn how to use them in the right way. There's wrong ways and there's right ways for every wager. Are we going to take a point spread versus a money line, and why? What's the value difference of this? Um, why are we? Question. Go ahead and question anything you don't understand so that you learn. That's the whole purpose of this, because the more you guys question, the more that it keeps me on my toes, potentially. Maybe I have something to learn. Maybe you guys have a different perspective that I'm not seeing. I don't know. But that's another thing I want to get across, is just having an open mind. Nobody knows it all. Trust me, nobody. And things change so fast. The more eyes on the situation, the more ears, the more voices, the better. And that's part of networking. The mental health aspects. There's going to be some really bad weeks, and there's going to be some good weeks, but half the season is going to be looking back on my records, 7, 8 to 9, 10, as many as 10 weeks a year is a nominal win or loss. So it's important to bet size properly, which is another thing we talk about. We're not just throwing random bets and just, chase. We never chase, we never press. Um, all of that is, something that needs to be discussed and understood uh, and basically adhered to, and hopefully it sinks in. Uh, let's see, we did that. Basically, just trying to be transparent with everything. I don't understand why. I believe that this concept is the beginning of the future. I don't understand how a service can, or somebody that you're going to follow is going to ask money without providing you with more than a pick. If you're buying a pick, the very best are going to lose 44% uh, of the games. So that's like a little bit better than a coin flip. Uh, go with something where you're going to learn along the way. The write-ups, the communication, the one-on-one, the attention. You're not going to get that anywhere else. I believe in the future, people are going to have to do that because people like yourselves are going to demand it. Why wouldn't you? I mean, what's the point of just following somebody's pick? Um, yeah, as somebody pointed out, many services provide losing info, and a weekly conference call would be a disaster for most. Um, you know what? I'll bet you a handful of those people would actually be helped having to be accountable and such. Um, I'll tell you, I really don't look forward to. I take a losing week very hard, and I'm not looking forward to that. And um, I guess that's I guess that's one thing to say. Also, is you know we're all a team, whether you like it or not. It's there's nobody that's going to apply more pressure on me than me. So the usefulness of know-it-alls or trolls or extremely irrational, disgruntled comments and by people that don't understand there's going to be winning weeks and losing weeks and maybe long losing streaks. That's frustrating because I don't control any of that, and I say that and everybody should know that, and that's why you should, when we talk about bet sizing and stuff, that's why you don't bet 10% of your bankroll on a single bet. You bet a reasonable amount of money, which for 99% of the people is far less than they want to bet. But we'll get that across. The more positiveness that we can have, the better. Uh, if somebody wants to, be negative, negativity can be contagious and counterproductive. So, is that going to be good for you? I don't know, but I don't think it's constructive headed in my direction because I promise you, nobody's going to punish themselves more than me. Uh, So I've gone over some of the expectations that I have is having the correct books, having the proper funding. I haven't touched on. Um, you're not going to get rich right off the bat necessarily and expect that we're going to win and that's going to build your bankroll and give you that cushion. We could start off with a 0-10 streak. Are you bet sizing able to follow that? I mean, that's never happened, but it can. It's important that you guys decide what your bankroll is going to be and stick to it. And I'm gonna go over what my range of actual bet sizing is. Obviously the site I'm associated with has their uh, you know 3, 4, 5% ratings, and that's not realistic. Um, but I will convert those to a range, and I had a few of them written down, and hadn't decided on what the final range would be, but in the neighborhood of a top bet is going to be, I think, maybe 3%. Maybe I've got to find where I wrote it, but it's not going to be much. So factor that in on your budgeting. Uh, Absorbing the streaks up and down. We don't do the short term big game type of stuff. Most of the stuff is going to be basically flat bet. You know what? I may have some games that for promotional purposes end up being 5%, and yeah, I'm betting a little bit more on them, but that's literally just like a little fraction more. And quite frankly, it's a method for me to reach more people and get my message across because no matter how many times I do it, I can't talk people out of chasing big games. You can tell them that they're buying coin flips till you're blue in the face and people don't listen. I've spent 3 years in write ups and videos saying stop chasing short-term streaks, stop buying big plays, and they don't listen. So I do my little bit. I participate in making an occasional larger play available, and I use those opportunities to try to reach out with what my message is, and hopefully I can get through to some people. But generally, as I've always said, like I said, these things are barely better than a coin flip, and just be wary. I cannot believe people buy picks because somebody has won 4 out of 5 games, or they're quoting their 10-game record or their 15-game record. Are you kidding me? Anybody watching this, if that's the criteria that you use to buy picks, you need your head examined. It means nothing. Okay, every single person I know will lose or win 10 games in a row without exception. And quite frankly, you're better off finding a winning gambler, a winning bettor that's on a losing streak. And you should be doing the inverse of what everybody does and buy that person when they have just been getting their ass kicked, as long as you know that they have a process that has yielded long-term profits. But everybody does it in the opposite. And as soon as they see somebody say, "Oh, I got a huge play and I'm 6-2 and I'm on fire," I mean, come on. Uh, so enough about that. What other expectations? Proper funding, correct books, communication. Um, I always suggest people check out the YouTube videos that I have, the summer series. If you're in contests, check out those contest videos. There's a lot of good strategies scattered throughout. Um, the Discord, when I release plays, my process is I bet my game. When I bet my game, and oftentimes I may have a write-up already made out since I know I'm going to bet it and I've got it ready to go. Where this really is going to help is the Discord channel. I can't promise it, but the vast majority of the time, I'm going to give a warning that, hey, a play is coming. And that could be at any time. I'm never going to release at a regular time. But if I can give you some notice, I will. And I will have already bet it. I won't be moving the line with you. My buddies won't be moving the line on you. So you can rest assured that I'm doing what I can there. I believe that the people on the Discord will get the plays. Actually, the first thing I do is I enter the play over at Wager Talk. An email is generated. And I believe that by the time that I have pressed send on Discord, you're going to get a Discord play before you're going to get the email. That's why I think the Discord is important. Uh, and even if you don't, it's still a backup. So the category will have every play, the write-ups. I'll be putting in newsletters in there, charts that I find interesting. We have the exchange of ideas by anybody that wants to participate, back and forth. I'll be very attentive on that. There's a lot of people that I already know that can be quite helpful. And then there's a lot of people that are involved that are never going to say a word. And surprisingly enough, there's a lot of people, I don't know why, they just don't want to be in the Discord. And I understand, because I hate having extra apps. If you are not aware of it, Discord has a desktop app and it has a phone app that works on a tablet also. You can mute all the notifications you don't want to have. So if one of the reasons you don't like it is because it made noise every 2 seconds, you can block that type of stuff. There's a way to mute notifications and only put my notifications on there, or a certain category, or you can block certain people that annoy you. So I'm shocked at how many people are not going to that have opted not to have the Discord. If you're one of those people, I suggest rethinking that. At least try it out. So play goes out in the Discord, and we're good to go. And I'll do my best to update what my intentions are going to be. Some stuff I'm not going to tell, some stuff I may. Um, we're never betting, Thursday games because it's a Thursday or a Monday game because it's a Monday. Um, I forget what day it was, but I think we only had a couple of either Monday nights or Thursday nights the entire season last year. So, the games are what the games are. And by week 4, and my model's kicking in, that's when we start to kind of groove, and I'm going to have information faster because before then, we don't know anything. And as I tweeted out yesterday, I tweeted out a bunch of bad predictions I had last year that didn't come true. So uh, uh, we don't know anything. We have to see this on-field play. People age. People are, get divorces. They get injuries. They have conflict. They got paid. There's dozens of reasons why player performance can be off the charts and unpredictable. COVID could sneak up on us again. We just don't know. Um, I don't really have much more to say other than this main stuff. I wanted to just make an introduction, uh, just check out the operating system, make sure I knew how to work it. I think I've kind of addressed the questions that are pertinent on the broader spectrum. If there's anything else, obviously reach out. You can send a question right now if there's something you want an answer to right now. Um, but these wager conferences are not going to be for entertainment value. They could be working. There's no time I can really take off away from the screen. If I do a video with Ron or for somebody else, I'm keeping an eye on the market, and I'll stop what I'm doing right there if I've got to make a bet. So the priority is always going to be watching the market, and I'm not going to be here to entertain. And this is a job. It's a full. Somebody brought it up, and tried to compare it to a job. And this is a freaking lifestyle. Are you kidding me? A job, you get 115 days off a year. You get vacations, 9 to 5. Are you kidding me? There are no days off during the season, and they're all. There's no such thing as a day that has less than 10 hours of effort in. So uh, no, it's nothing like a job, to answer the question. I see no other questions. I hope that I've kind of updated a little bit about what this is going to be. I'm gonna have the ability to have the cameras and microphones on so that we can actually kind of have a town hall process of having an exchange where I'm not just talking to myself. This is very difficult to do, to just talk without somebody giving you a break. So it's not that fun. So out of necessity, I need to stop talking at times. So um, lots more to talk about. I got pages and pages and stuff, but I just wanted to touch on the broad strokes. Planning on having a great NFL season again. I actually, honestly, do feel confident that it's going to be a good year. I think it's going to be. We faced a lot of negative variance last year and still came out in good shape. And if we can just get that, we've had 2 years of it in a row where the bounces have gone against us, the toss up games with a minute to go. I remember sending a message out that we were 1-9 on a 10-game stretch, and it didn't even get any better. So, and I had to pull off some miracles just to get a couple of wins with some unusual betting, and shouldn't have to do that. So if we can just get 50-50, I don't want variance in my favor. Just give me 50-50 this year, and we'll be in great shape. I'm not asking for anything unreasonable. So we're looking for reverse regression, on fumble luck, essentially. Uh, anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say. There are no unanswered questions, so I appreciate everybody joining. And again, try to have another one of these soon. Please enter the Discord. Please start participating. I may have some preseason games, I checked. The lines are still the same. I'm going to wait. I might have some preseason games coming out tonight. Let me take a look at this. Let's see if they moved. Good thing I waited. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking at two games. I'm not telling you who they are. They fit an amazing, never lost situation, both of them. So we all know that all streaks come to an end, but there's rhyme and reason why I like these games. So anyway, I'm going to hang up. I got another. You'll see another announcement coming from involves some stuff I'm doing here very shortly. I'm going to be recording that right after this. And I'm kind of looking forward to that, and I think everybody's going to enjoy that project too. So looking forward to when that gets announced. And I made it through, I think, and I appreciate everybody joining. I'm out of here.